Hello and welcome to another free code session. My name is Jason Bach, and I was a little disappointed this weekend because I was editing videos and I found out that my recordings sometimes drop the audio somewhere halfway through or whatever, and I don't know why. So this video and subsequent videos, I'm going to be a little bit more, I'm going to actually stop recording, check the one that I have, make sure that it's got audio, and do that like every 5 minutes. Now, hopefully for you, the viewer, won't notice because I'm going to, just edit all the videos together. So like I got a stopwatch going there. So every 5 minutes or so, I'm going to just stop, check, and then start up and keep going. But I lost 4 recordings doing that. And that was a little, in retrospect, I probably should have just put them all together and said, hey, this was 5 recordings or 4 recordings. And it didn't keep all of the audio. So just take it for what it's worth. Who knows? But yeah, it's something that kind of bummed me out a little bit yesterday. And when I say yesterday, I mean the 4-day weekend for Thanksgiving. So Friday I was editing videos and I got done a lot quicker. I'm all caught up now because I don't have 4. But I noticed some people were doing like 12-hour streams yesterday or doing, Hack Friday. I think I saw somebody do. And I thought, well, let's actually do some recordings this weekend and spend some time doing some programming love. Now, I also thought of a new idea for a source generator that I'm probably going to, depending upon how I get far with this thing that's in front of me, I will start working on and maybe do that as like a hack project. This whole recording thing too, I really don't want to continue to do this with this random drop. What I really want, and at some point I'm going to just have to do this, is get a monitor and put it here and see if if I switch over to OBS here for a second, if like right now you can see the mic is bumping up and down and that's good. I'm assuming it's also getting to the actual recording, but what I'd like is this to be over here and say, no, record this screen, and that I can kind of look over every so often, and maybe I'll catch that it's actually dropping here in OBS. I don't know where it's really happening. I don't know if it's in the mic itself, if there's something in the driver that just dies. I haven't looked in, event viewer or anything like that. So I really don't know. I don't know why this is happening, but in any event, funny. So what am I going to do right now? Well, before I get into my other newish project, there's always so much to do. I've been going through my list here of things that I need to do. And one of them was getting through all of these tests. And I hit generics, and I figured generics was going to be like the hump to get over, so to speak. And it's lived up to its reputation. I was not handling generics well at all. If you actually look at the code that I'm doing here, it's where is this? It's an integration test. Well, I got that working now. So I got that going for me, but I don't have where there's a generic parameter with the method itself. I don't also have constraints in there just yet, and I do need to follow the constraints. So if there's constraints on the type parameters or the method type parameters, I need to emit those into the C# code. I'm hoping that's not going to be a big deal, but one doesn't know. By one, I mean me. So, but the thing I'm working on now is I've got the naming. I got the naming all done now. I'm actually got a little helper method to generate the name of a type based on where I am in the code. Do I just need the literal name? Do I need all the types? Do I need all of the, like this, igenerics of string, and then all the other types? And I actually will now emit all that and I call it flattening, where I put in like the underscore in between all the type names, because I need that when I generate the actual mock type. So I got all that in there, and I believe that that's actually now all fixed. So I think that's done. I do need to do this, which is I don't want to be supporting something like, if I come over to a more germane thing over here, I don't want to be saying something like var m is equal to rock.create of t. Okay. I really don't want to do that, where maybe this method is actually a t and then it's open, and then on the instance, I mean, I guess I could support that and saying, well, if you're giving me an open generic type, then I will emit an open mock type. And then all of that should fall as a consequence. See, now that I'm talking through this is the whole thing about talking through a problem with yourself, because there's nobody else to go through and spend time and sit down and go, well, what should I do here? What do you think I should do? Because omitting it one way or the other isn't really that big of a thing. I have to sit there and go, what happens if you give me an iGeneric of t compared to an iGeneric of string? Both of those should emit two different types. But if you actually resolved it at some point of being a instance, like those instance methods that I generate with the constructor, could I actually generate those with the open generics? And then when I create it, I just pass those in, and that's what you get back. And so again, that would actually be pretty simplistic. If I see that you have open generics, then just emit that type. So I'm kind of sort of talking myself out of this. I'm thinking if you do something like this, or could I actually omit this and have instance t methods where I just pass over the generics, depending if I have multiple. So that's something I need to think about. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm actually going to dive into that one just yet. The one thing I did know, though, is if I do something like this, and again, this is when I have to do this right now. This is, again, why I'm debating in my head that I maybe will support open generics on the type itself. But when I do the expectations on the method, I'm generating this correctly, because if you have a generic on the method, I have to cast it to argv t1, whatever you said that was going to be. So the thing, though, is that it is possible somebody could have passed in, because it's on a method, it has to stay open, and maybe you set an expectation for an int, and what you're actually given is one for a string, and so then the cast would actually fail itself. So should I continue to do this and just have an invalid cast exception, or do something like this where I say, well, be a little bit safer, and then just naturally fall into whatever I think it will generate an exception? And is that actually a little cleaner than getting an exception that probably makes a little bit more sense to you? I forget what's actually created. Well, let's go and see what's actually created, because I can easily F12 into any of these, right? So if I come into here, yeah, it just throws an expectation exception. It will say no handlers found for this and that. And yeah, so I think that would actually be what we want to do. The problem is that if I come back here and I say with parameters, where's ones with parameters? Here we go. No, not print screen. That was was that the key? No, I'm still talking. Okay. So if I come into here, you'll notice that I'll say it was valid as valid. I do this. Well, if I do this, if it's that and false, valid to false, and then it would just naturally come out because it wouldn't be this. No, I think I should change that. I really think I should change that to making it for open generic values to make it so that the cast is a little cleaner. Now, I could also just say, rather than trying to look at, is it an open generic or is it a closed generic, you actually give me the value or not, is just to change all the generated code to do this. And then it becomes, consistent. The other thing too was doing this and saying, if the cast actually works, then call this, otherwise do, well, what would you do in that case? So this is actually an interesting thing. If you provided me a handler that I think I can cast to, then great. What happens though if this doesn't work and I return value, which is just default? So yeah, this is where it starts getting a little bit more dicey too. Do I fail in these cases? Because this makes sense to change the cast here. In my mind, it makes sense to change the cast here. But down here, if it's not the type, then this cast would fail, and then you would get a cast, val cast or something like that, exception, maybe even a null reference. And then if you said that you were going to give me a return value, but it doesn't actually equal this, well, then what would you do? Somehow I think I'd have to come out of this and say, did something actually work? Like if method is null, then I'm expecting that you set a return value. And I think, though, that the return value would be the default of that type if you didn't give me a return value. You said you just didn't care. Because you don't have to specify it. I think I just say, did you call it? And then if you don't set a return value, it just gives the default of whatever the type is. So I think this would be okay-ish. This one I'm a little concerned about, but I don't know what would be the right thing to do. If I'm returning a value, I'm expecting that I would actually, I would have set either the method or the return value, or both, but the method overrides the return value in the sense of that's what's actually going to return. So, yeah, I kind of, I think it just dawned on me. You would only get into this if the casts from all the expectations worked. So in other words, you said I was going to call it with a to and a b as a string. Then you jump in there. The only way that this would have actually been set is if you gave me the right values, because these come from the adornments and those are typed to whatever you just gave me. So I believe that would have to work. Maybe I could break that. I don't know. But I think this is something that I'm going to keep. So let's go in and let's change. Well, first of all, I'm going to make this note here. Let's not do this. Okay. Because this one I think is something I can do right now. Then we'll change the descriptors and then we'll see about this thing. And then once that's done, I can get back to writing the test for the generics, I believe. And then I can get through all the class methods. And then I have all this crap. Actually, I believe, if I just remember right, I don't think I call .toDisplayString anymore within my code. But let's just check quick and see. Let's just check if I'm still recording. And I am. But let's just check and see if I actually am or not. So if I come back over here, and let's just say, find that project, edge case, find all. I don't think I am. I am wrong about that. Okay, so there are still some places where I'm going to have to change that. Okay, so we'll keep that in there for now. I don't want to tackle that beast, but I do have to change that. So then we got some other things to do. Change where the cast is being done. It's using delegate builder. I think I already did that. Okay. Focus, Jason. Let's get to the generic stuff. All right, so this is in anywhere where I am. It wouldn't be in the constructors. It would be when I am building methods, for example. That is one place. Okay. And build method with validation handle with parameters. So now I have to do some very delicate surgery. So this is the disadvantage of doing it this way. If I think about this and I take this, okay, and then if I do that, okay, and then I say as that question mark is valid with the parameter name. Else, oh, it's because I have to close it off. Okay. But I want to say question mark, false, right? Because I'm passing in the parameter, and this is basically saying it might have happened. Okay, so there's one, there's that, that, and then it would be closed off, and then we do an and. Okay, so I think that's correct. Okay, and then we need to, oh, wait a minute. No, we don't want these things here anymore. Okay, so then we come over here, and then we take that off, and we do that as that. Question mark is valid. Okay, false. And it was just, yeah, because we have the space there, so we'll put that like that. Because if it's the last thing, it puts the parentheses there. And if it isn't, then we do the and. Okay, so that's one of them. And this, boys and girls, guess what? Guess what? No parameters. Well, then we don't care about that. So that's value builder. Now let's go to void builder. And we go with parameters because that's the only thing we care about. And we're going to grab this. And then we're going to put that over here as that, except we're going to take that off. And then we're going to say question mark is valid. False. Okay. And then we come down here. God, I feel a sneeze. Like there's a sneeze stuck in my nose right now. And it's just begging to come out, but it won't. It's really annoying. You ever have that happen? Never happened to you? Because it's happening to me right now. And I'm just like, would you just release the Kraken, so to speak? Okay. So that's good. So we have those changed. And let's come back here and let's re-review what I did. All right, good thing. And here's the thing with the test. I have these integration tests. And I'll unload and I'll reload. And that should regenerate the code, but then nothing should break. This should all be the same. Right? Okay, so those are the methods. The property builder, I think there's probably when you do the setter. Yes, because you are... Okay, so let's pull the whole cast out. Okay. And then we say as that, except now we need to question it. I kind of like that. Now you got to question it. False. Okay. And that should be it for the property. Yeah. Because you only worry about the setter. The ha. That was a lot of English. It's a lot of nothing is what that was. With the index builder, yeah, same thing, because the indexers can have many. Oh, well, hello there. You're wrong. You notice I got this, I don't remember if I put this in one of my lost episodes or not. The lost episodes of Jason. Type get name. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay, so these are going to have to change, but that's fine. So we're going to pull this out like that. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to say as that, except we're going to do that. And then we're going to say, not that whole big thing. We're going to say get name. Just like that. Okay. And that's good. So you need to question it. And then you need to say that it false. Okay. And then down here, let's change this first. Get that monstrosity out of the way. And then we'll do this. Don't tell me about parentheses. Don't you IntelliSense code your stuff, because you're too smart for your own britches. I even had a drink today. You surprised about that? I am. Okay, so we casted that. And false. Okay. So that's indexers. And we got to do that down here. Okay, so let's go change this. And again, let's make this get name, that, pull that out. And then we'll say as that, but we question it. And then we furthermore question the validity of our assumptions, if that made sense. And then we're going to change this get name. I'm glad I added that extension. I knew I was going to do that at some point because it was just being noise everywhere was the problem. Okay, so we got that. We question it. And then we do false. Okay. And I don't believe... Well, no, on the setters. Oh, no, because I just did the setters. Yeah, and I did the getters. Okay, so that's that. I don't think they come into play with events. Let's just check, but I don't think they do. No, they don't. Okay, that's good. All right, so let's close this. Okay. You can see I better be recording. And I am recording. Good. Okay. This whole copying and starting and stopping is kind of annoying, but I'm going to have to do this for a little while because I just don't trust whatever is not happening. So is what it is. All right, so let's come back in the Visual Studio and let us check out what is going on with the generated code. And if that's all good, then we can get that off the list, which, yay. It's a small win. Small wins. Oh yeah, did I put, wait a minute. I don't even have that on here. I am a moron. We really gotta do this. Gotta get constraints emitted or generated. Yeah, that's the next thing before this. Okay, so we got that. Let's say run all tests on that. Oh, come on, just build. See what I broke. Something's got to break, right? The generated code's actually going to break, and I'm going to get a failure, which is a good thing because that will show me that I don't know what I'm doing. Or something like that. I don't know. You know, one other thing, too, is that one of the things I edit out of all my videos is all the ums I do. And I should, like, take all the ums and put them in a... somewhere and then just make a video of all my ums, and that would be really embarrassing. Operator can't be applied to that. See, now I told you folks, I interface, it's all these. Yeah, I interface method return test. It doesn't matter. I told all you that this wouldn't work, right? And so, oh, I need something that's actually like got parameters. Yeah, that had parameters. So 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So that's actually okay. Well, what's the error? It's saying, and, oh, so I need with multiple parameters? There we go. Okay. Aha. Yes, I'm a moron. You're right, Jason. You're very much a moron, and you are an idiot, and you don't know what you're doing. Because that casts, and then question mark that. What I really need is then to have a around all of that. Because what's coming out of that is, I think it's getting confused. Wait a minute. Oh, geez. Yeah. Okay. This is actually that one. Yeah. It's the beginning of the if. It's not that one. I need to put around all of it. I always need to put parentheses and be very clear as to either is valid's going to come out and tell me a bool. Okay. We can do this quick. We can do this. We have the power. We have the ability. So we need to say here, all of this needs that. Okay. And that's right, because that's the last one. Trust yourself, Jason, because that works for you. So I have so much confidence in myself. And then we do that. And then we do that. Okay, so that is all the method stuff, or the indexer stuff. Now the method stuff, we need to do there. So we're going to be like that and saying this, plus we're also going to come down here and we're going to do that. I think that takes care of that one. And then we come here and then but again, what did I just show you, folks? What did I just show you again? One, that I don't know how to code and then I'm a moron. And two, unit tests, or just tests in general, or just tests make sure I didn't F everything up. So that made it easily obvious that, I am a moron and that I don't know what I'm doing. That's what's good about tests. So that's the property builder. This had to have been somewhere, the property builder. It has to be in the setter, right? Yeah, there. Okay. So we do that. And then we do that. In this case, I don't think it matters. I think you're actually going to have a redundant set of parentheses because you're not anding with anything. So I think in this case, it's okay to not have that extra set of parentheses. Okay, so we got properties. We did do the void, right? We did the void. Yes, we did. Value. And yes, we did. And then indexer. We did. Okay, so let's close this because, again, we got to close it because, one of the things you do when you're a 10x programmer is you shut down and restart, or you need your source generator to be reloaded. So I hope at some point they quote unquote fix this, because it makes the creation and evolution and writing of of source generators kind of a pain. It would be nice if it was reloaded, but it doesn't work that way. And in the grand scheme of things, probably it's not worth it from a cost perspective, but it is kind of annoying. Okay, so we clean. I'm going to build. And what happens? We succeed. Now, do all the tests pass. So let's do this. And it says I succeeded. How many failed? Yeah, because reason. Okay, that's not what I wanted. I wanted you to run I wish that was a keystroke. And they all pass. Good, 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 good. I know why that fails too, is because sometimes I change the generated code and then I have to get a little bit more clear on what I'm doing in that test. But that is good because now we can commit and we can say 121, more progress on generics. And we commit, and we push, and we say, this is done. It's done. That's good. Okay, so the next episode, I'm going to get the constraints figured out. I have no idea how to do that. And then I'm going to get this figured out. That one's a minor one. That's just putting in the descriptors to make sure that they actually show when you're calling a method that if it's a generic method, that it has the generics on the method itself. So that's something I have to figure out. And hopefully my audio didn't drop. So we'll keep working with this and maybe eventually I will figure this out. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Leave comments and questions below. See you in the next episode.